Welcome back to Heaven in Sight. It's been a while, but we're back and better than ever. I'm Jonah, your newish host. It is 1 week we're through. Sorry, Jared. And we got Jimmy Johnny in the studio. How you doing, Jimmy Johnny, with mayo on this?
Good. I remember at the beginning of the last episode, it was you said sorry, Johnny.
I did instead of Jared. Yeah, I realized
that's kind of weird.
That. Yeah, I meant Jared because he was the old host and I booted him. So, Timmy Turner, living next to the Dinkelbergs. How you cruising?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
What an
Amen.
Hunter in the Woods, how's it going?
Also yes.
Also yes, yeah.
See,
you're not doing a good job. I saw like 6 deer this morning.
Well, see, here's a common misconception.
And that's it. So,
yeah.
Just kidding.
Regular hunter's actually spelled with 2 T's.
Oh.
If it's the act of hunting.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. Are we being legit?
No.
kind of like how his last name, kind of like how his middle name, instead of being, like
Yeah,
Wesley,
there's an extra
West
T.
Lee.
Westly.
Because they didn't want him to think it was Wesley.
Westly.
And this is Heaven in Sight. Harvest Fest was this Sunday, and it was a blast. I'm not going to say that, but it was this Sunday, so I got to get rid of that question. I was figuring we were going to play that week out.
Okay.
So, okay. We're going to start.
Johnny, how much candy did you get at Harvest Fest this year?
Johnny, on a scale of 1 to 10.
Candy?
Yeah, 1 to 10.
I would say like 0.
I love how introspective you were about it, and then your end result was still 0. All right, I have a very, very deep, intimate question for you. How would you describe the color yellow to a person that's blind?
It's the color of the sun.
You have to, okay, but they don't know what the sun looks like. You have to describe someone that's never, ever seen anything what the color yellow
So then
is.
what's the actual importance of them knowing what the color yellow looks like if they cannot see?
Because they
asked.
They have free will, Timothy. They can choose what they want to do.
What if they want to
Just
know
because they're
the
blind,
color
they
of
can
ice
know
cream
what
that's lemon flavored?
Yeah. What if they want to know what the color of the sun is?
Yeah. Well, that's actually an orange.
I would. All right. Here's my
It depends how long you
Jonah.
stare at
They
it.
put their hand over a fire and
All right,
say
Jonah.
that
We do not
pain is the
condone
color
staring
of
at
the
the sun.
All right, Jonah. This is my answer to that. Okay.
Got you.
It's a color.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Okay.
All right, we're just gonna go ahead and say they did not learn anything.
yeah, definitely no.
Timothy, how would you describe the color yellow to someone who was blind?
Well, okay, so I said this earlier, but
Okay.
none of you guys were listening. So,
Okay.
how I would explain
Go
it
for
is
it.
I would hold their hand over a fire and say it looks how it feels.
Oh my god.
They wouldn't like the color yellow. Specifically
Little,
for talking about the sun.
Would you do the same for like blue? You just like put
Yeah.
that near the bottom.
No, you put your hand. You put their hand in the water.
Oh, not a freezer. Okay, so
A freezer, that'd be white. Have you ever looked
Got me there.
Have you looked at the ice inside of a freezer?
okay, what would you do for the color black?
Put them in a dark room.
Wait, they're
know.
blind.
They're blind, so they do.
so they already know what it looks like.
No,
The color you see.
you're not wrong. I mean,
That actually, you could work from there.
yeah, you're actually working
Except
somewhere.
that black's not a color.
No,
It's
the
the
absence
absence.
of
No,
color.
it's actually
Well, no, it's not.
absorbing.
So
all
take
the
the
color.
opposite of
No, white?
yellow.
White is
What you
reflecting
imagine-
all the color.
Is it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
Black is,
cheating.
that's why black holes are black. Is because they absorb all the light.
Okay.
Science man.
So the Oxford
Nerd.
Dictionary defines yellow as the color between green and orange in the spectrum. Specifically, green is the color or emotion that you
So
feel
what is
when you're
green?
sick.
Oh, okay.
That's what I just said. You didn't listen, did
How
you?
do they know what being sick is like?
Look at they're blind,
They're
not dead.
In orange,
What
that's
would happen
the
if
color
they're
of,
both blind and
orange is
deaf?
the color of what
What are you
Fanta
gonna
tastes
tell 'em?
like.
You can't tell them anything.
That's just
Why
straight
would you
fizz.
tell them anything? They can't see or
Exactly.
hear you.
So
What happens if
orange
they
is
try
fizz.
asking?
You have to tap them.
Yeah. What? Anyway,
Anyway.
so that's yellow.
That's yellow. Okay, sick. Johnny.
Hey.
No, we're gonna go with Timmy. I feel like you got a good answer for this. Do you think you could grow a lemonade
Wait, how would
stand?
you explain yellow?
Yeah, how would you explain
Yeah,
yellow,
how
Jonah?
would you explain
Yeah,
yellow?
you're gonna
That's the
criticize
weakest
me?
question.
It's
Okay.
quite simple. So, in order for a blind person to understand anything visually, they have to link it with an emotion, with a feeling. I would link the color yellow with sour and citrus. I would say, hey, you ever eaten a lemon head? You ever eaten a lemon? You ever drink citric acid? I'd hope not. But if you ever eat any of these sour things, that pungent feeling, that probably sound like ASMR to the people on the recorded.
Yeah, but the video
That
people
feeling,
gotta
that's yellow. And when it's heat, which is often fire, right? It's that opposite, but reversed. So like squinch your face up
Ouch.
and reverse that. That's what it feels like to be yellow.
But we're not asking how it feels to be yellow. We're describing the color.
So, Timothy, do you think you could grow a lemonade stand business so large that the only drink available and allowed in the U.S. would be your lemonade? And if so, how, step by step, would you do that?
I'm just gonna be straight up honest. I would not.
Okay. And
I
if you
don't have the
could, what would you do?
capability.
Liquid Conquest.
What
How
would you name
begin
it?
that?
What would I name it?
Mhm. I like Liquid Conquest.
Liquid concrete? Oh no.
Liquid Sludge.
Liquid sludge. I don't know. What would I name a lemonade company?
Timmy's
I don't know.
Lemonade.
Timmy's Lemonade. Okay.
Kiss from
And
the
how are you
sun.
going to grow? How would you
Kiss from the
outnumber?
sun.
A kiss from the sun.
Timmy's
Actually,
Lemonade.
That's
A
already
kiss
a
from the
thing. Sun
sun.
kiss is already a thing, so I can't say that.
Okay. Well, you've ran
A
out of ideas.
smooch
Yeah.
from the
Johnny,
sun.
you seem like a lemonade entrepreneur.
Yeah.
I'm not.
He's actually a Coke
Hunter,
Zero fan.
you
but-
seem like a lemonade
Yes,
entrepreneur.
actually, I am.
Yeah,
I
tell
have
me.
sold.
No, I actually am.
Oh, what?
What?
I love.
No. The only drink that you like is Coke Zero.
No, Pepsi. Zero.
No.
Pepsi,
Pepsi?
Diet Pepsi.
Oh, my bad.
This man's a Diet Pepsi.
No,
man
I
right
love Diet Pepsi with lemonade in
Pepsi.
it.
What? Gross.
What?
It's a meringue.
He likes. I like to mix drinks.
So what you start with is you start with the TV, the television.
Mm-hmm.
What does everybody in the U.S. watch?
YouTube on my
yes,
phone.
YouTube.
Birds.
Specifically on Johnny's phone.
Oh,
What you
on
do is
Johnny's
you start with brainwash.
So what's the point of TV?
Brainwashing.
Yeah, you
brainwash,
go
right?
to Facebook. and
Once you
just-
start brainwashing people, they start to go, I really want
That's what
lemonade.
my English teacher
And what
said
you
to
start
me.
doing from there is you start brainwashing the other lemonade companies to quit making lemonade.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden you're the only one making lemonade and everybody wants lemonade. And then
Yes.
But
there you
here's
go.
the problem: if you get those people who own those lemonade companies to stop wanting to make lemonade, they're gonna get bored and start watching YouTube, and then they'll get brainwashed to then make lemonade again.
No, they just want lemonade.
Oh, but then they are like, oh yeah, I used to make lemonade, so
No.
they just make it themselves.
No,
part of the
that's not how that
brainwash is You
works.
forget how to.
Well, you didn't say that.
Well, that's what I just said now.
That's
There,
what
see,
he
I'm
just said.
fixing your issues.
Thank you,
You're
Timothy, for
welcome.
fixing
It's
my
called
issues.
brainstorming.
You know what else has fixed my issues in a time of hunger,
Troubleshooting.
need, and quench? Big Debbie bowl cakes.
I thought you were going with the Holy Spirit, but
Also Christ.
Hey, since you're the one who likes them so much, why don't you do this?
Big Debbie
segment?
bowl cakes?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, sponsor from the host.
Well, that leads us to this
Oh,
week's
yeah.
sponsor. This week's sponsor is one that comes from another universe, introducing Big Debbie bowl cakes, because Big Debbie bowl cakes is just too small, right? Wait, what? It's hard to read.
What?
This week's sponsor is one that's personally close to my stomach. It's Big Debbie bowl cakes, right? This one's actually from another universe. Like, it's not just out of this world. It's out of this world. Because Little Debbie cakes are just too small, man. And that's right, boys and girls, and men and women and dogs and cats. You can have yours today for the small price of $3.99 a week. And that's not $3. That's $399.99 a week. Will include a time machine. Why, you must ask? Because you deserve it.
this was that still part of my script or was that ad lib?
Dude, that was.
That's your script.
Oh,
Yeah.
The script kind of stinks.
well, I wrote it last year.
No, the script doesn't stink. It just is
It
last.
was for season 1.
It doesn't stink. It's just not very coherent.
I got
Jonah,
you.
you ripped another one off the wall.
Oh.
Jonah.
Oh, you keep breaking. Oh my goodness.
Johnny, you're gonna get fired.
It's not my fault the wall's volume.
Your internship is getting terminated.
Hey.
This is Hunter's wall.
Check out our YouTube version of the video to see what Jonah's doing right now.
Mm-hmm.
He's being disruptive.
He's being very disruptive.
It's breaking.
Did you just say that was my wall?
Yeah, that was my wall.
No, you did part of that wall.
No, I did not.
Jonah, that's when you pull in the
I guess
meme that
that's
you
part
brought
of
up last week.
Now
What
back
meme?
to the episode. Poetry night. Oh, we were supposed to write poems.
Oh.
Okay, we'll be ad-libbing this.
Yeah.
I've been told through the grapevine that you three, including me, I guess, so us four,
Have
my
ad-libs.
grapevine,
We love poetry.
we love poetry.
I love
Honestly,
poetry.
I love poetry.
I
Yeah.
love poetry.
Timothy, how do you feel about
Dude,
poetry?
That
He
is so
loves
cool.
poetry. It's so cool.
I love it so much. I write 3 poems every day.
Johnny loves poetry
Johnny, you're walking
so
yourself
much.
into a corner.
Johnny-
Is this another
No,
episode?
I'm not.
Johnny loves poetry so much.
I love
He's gonna
poetry.
lead us in poetry night.
Yeah, he's gonna
Wow.
say all
Yes,
3.
I am going to lead you in poetry night.
Are you gonna say 3 since you make 3 a day?
Yeah.
Okay.
Which one did you write this morning,
Johnny.
specifically?
Yeah, yeah.
It was called
Oh, I did like the piece.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
Yeah, PHF. That is a slam poetry, yeah?
Yeah. No, that was poetry.
Johnny, I'll lead you off. I personally love poetry, and I'm into slam poetry. It's this artistic form to ad-lib, to get my passions out and fully express myself through noise.
Noise.
All right, we'll set the scene, right?
You're in a
We're on a
laundromat.
mountain.
Do you want a little snap?
No, I think this will be bad for the
No, this be
audio.
fine. This be fine.
Okay, the speed up. All right, set the scene. We're on a mountain. River in the back. Cloud to the ceiling. Birds flying by. Peaceful, serene. There's a deer in the woods. The deer's moaning. Oh,
Carl.
car headlights. Right? This is a poem from a deer's point of view. Headlights. Deadlights. Ah!
And a loud bang. As the deer got hit.
That was it.
That was great.
Yeah.
That was
Thank you,
great.
thank
Was
you.
that a poem or a song?
I love poetry.
The name of this piece is called Roadkill.
Okay. Go.
No.
Oh.
No, that
He
was
said
for
I
yours.
wrote this poem.
Here, I'll tell you guys
It
the
was
one
a
that I
collab.
learned that I made. That I mean,
You were killing it, my dude.
Literally slang.
Literally
this
killing
morning.
Okay.
All right,
it. All right.
you ready?
This is.
Yes. Oh, this is the.
Oh.
I love that.
Oh, it's
one.
this new thing called silence poetry.
Yeah, silent poetry. Let's take a minute to experience that. Did we just make ASMR? Whoever poetry to ASMR.
All right.
Great, Johnny.
Timmy,
Hold on.
your
No,
turn.
we got words for it.
Oh, you got
That's
words?
not it.
Okay.
All right, you guys ready? All right. A deer ran into the side of my dad's car,
Not a poem.
and it cost like $2,500.
Wow.
Yeah. Headlights. They ran into the side of his car.
Headlight. What? Deadlight.
This sounds a lot
A
like
deer.
This sounds a lot like the poem Jonah wrote.
No, it's not, because it's a true story
Oh, okay, yeah.
of an experience that my dad told me.
Oh, it's a narrative.
Yeah, shout out
Oh.
Jonathan George Wolcott.
Wait,
Love
isn't that
you.
you?
No, I'm Jonathan Peyton Wolcott.
Oh, my bad.
Oh,
I hope
I'm
you knew that.
Jonathan
Jorge.
Wolcott.
You're not Jonathan. You're Jonah Bolton. Bolton.
Yes, my middle name is Bolton, but it's spelled with an E.
Timothy looks like he's got a good poem.
Timothy's he's sounding it
Yeah,
out. You
let's
can hear
go.
him.
Let's go, Timmy.
He said that word doesn't work. Let me.
If I had a
Ooh, are
week
you
or
starting?
two-
Go.
No.
Sweet.
I'm not.
We're not doing ASMR.
No.
Can I
If
see
I had a little bit, I could probably come.
Eyeball.
Up,
Is that the
Rhymes on the
says?
fly are not really my thing.
Okay.
Oh, your poem's called Rhymes on the Fly.
All right,
Whoa,
go.
that's not
Go.
what
I like
Go.
that. What?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't say that. Oh, man.
Go Timmy.
He's a cow.
Go
Almost said
Timmy.
something that's
He's a
probably
cow.
not right. Who's a cow?
He's a cow.
You're a cow.
I'm a cow.
Who's a cow?
Here, we'll just
We're a
rhyme.
cow.
Yeah, here we
I'm
go,
a
baby.
cow.
Cow. Wow. How?
Sow. Ooh, okay. Let's
How
switch it
are
up.
you?
Poetry
Yeah.
night failed.
Where
so
am
we'll
I?
do the one-word game, right?
Oh.
Has to be a consistent
Everybody did
sentence.
great poetry. I think it was a success.
No, I didn't mean we switch up entirely. I meant right now we transition into this new game.
Oh, okay. Let's
right, let's
transition
go.
to this
Right now.
new game. What game is this
Go,
that we're
Jonah.
transitioning into, Jonah?
This
Is it
a
called
new game
Deer in the
that we're
Headlights?
Transitioning into that I have just
Is
come
it
up
really
with.
a new game? Is
It's
it really
called-
a new game, or is this the game that we played in the last season?
It's called
of Heaven and Sight.
Deadlight, Dreadlight.
Ooh.
Oh no, we're being pop culture.
I just created.
You
the
said we're
poem.
being pop culture.
You said, "Oh no, that totally hit."
Timothy, we're now part of pop culture.
No, but think about it. If you say something that is relatable today and it's not timeless,
What's it
it's
related
gonna-
to, Timmy?
It's gonna be
Tell
from
me.
Squid Game, red light, green light. Come on, you guys know
I
that.
said headlight, dreadlight because
That sounds
my
like red
poem-
No,
light, green light.
I did
to
not.
me.
I did not
Red
think
light,
of Squid
green
Game.
light's not a pop culture
It
thing.
didn't
Red
come
light, green
from-
light
It's
was
the
a thing.
It's not
It is
from-
something
I've been saying
timeless.
it
because
didn't
was
come from
popular.
Squid Game. Squid
I know
Game-
it didn't come
This
from
came
Squid
from
Game.
real life.
But the entire, like, if you look at any type of social media in their reels, you would literally constantly just see red light. What are you doing? What are you
We're doing the boy emoji.
Boy.
bro.
Bruh.
Well, it's not.
Do you remember that? Where
Fine,
the hands
just-
would cross and then it would go, boy.
Boy.
They would go like this. Boy.
Nice.
That was a soccer.
They just
thing.
ascend. Oh, man.
Was that
Good
not
times.
a soccer thing?
What, wasn't a soccer thing?
That thing you did? Was it not?
Uh-uh.
It wasn't a soccer thing?
No, it was a boy.
I thought it was.
It was
a-
the girl
Yeah,
with the wig.
new
And she goes,
game.
boy.
What?
I thought it was. Oh, so it wasn't actually a girl.
No, it was a girl.
All right,
Girls can
guys.
have wigs.
Well, no, but
All
I was
right,
saying,
Jonah,
with
all right.
his, like,
Jonah, you should explain the new game because
Yeah.
we're getting off track.
Yeah, we can just.
Or we
cut
can just
that
wrap
out,
it.
right?
I was thinking rap.
We're not cutting this.
Oh, man. No.
Timothy never did his poetry.
Yeah, Timothy, you
What
hit
a
us up.
loser.
You hit us up with one more slither of a nice slippet of a nice niblet of poetry, giblet, and then we'll
Riblet.
transition it.
Okay, here's a little snippet.
Okay, here we go.
As I sat next to the fire, thinking of the fire and the mire.
It's not
That's all I
ASMR Hunter.
No, I was making a fireplace
Oh,
noise.
I-
No. I would need to come up with one more and then do a second stanza with a different
All right.
different rhyme. But
Make it
I
really
need to come up-
encryptic.
What do you mean?
Cryptic? Encryptic? No,
Cryptic?
cryptic, not encryptic.
What?
That's not a word. Like, make it where it's something that, has a different meaning than what it sounds like.
Oh, something that slides. Something that
What?
moves with ease.
You just made me feel so old.
Oh, you're thinking.
What does that
Peter's
mean?
Patent pending quick draw sword grease. Yeah, that actually brings me
No.
to our sponsor this time. Johnny.
Pause.
A man ran.
I didn't mean it slides. I did mean that, but I was.
what that means.
That doesn't mean anything. I was transitioning into a what slides? Okay, so it's Peter's patent pending quick draw sword grease.
Jonah, what about this? What about this, Jonah? Jonah, what about this? Okay, guys, this is
Where
cryptic.
is?
Hunter, this is cryptic. This is cryptic. Okay.
Now introducing. Can I do this one and you do the previous
So,
one?
so Hunter, this is pretty cryptic here.
What's the previous
Okay.
one?
There was a
So-
man.
We'll do that. We'll flip
That
it.
man
No, just wait.
Knew
Just wait.
another
Just wait.
man.
I got it.
Yeah.
But they
who
have
was
to be
also
quiet.
a man.
They have to
I'm
be
gonna do
quiet.
this.
You guys have to be
Oh, did
listening.
you start
Hey,
your
you guys
recording?
go.
Okay, I'm gonna do this one. Okay, this recording is gonna be the commercials.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
So I'll do this one, and then you'll do the Debbie cakes, and you'll ad-lib it.
Okay.
Because I want to do the
I wanted
Peter's
to say
patent-
my thing.
Peter's
Hunter said he
patent
wanted a
pending.
cryptic one, so I came up with a cryptic one.
a cryptic
A man,
poem. We're done with the poem.
We
a
are
man
done with the
ran
poem.
around a dryer. He was a friar chasing the dollar.
No, canceled.
You're right. That was so cryptic. You know what?
Canceled.
Timothy, that was the meaning of life. That wasn't even close to cryptic. You literally just were like, oh, here's the meaning of life. Oh, cryptic. Ooh.
Is that not?
I don't know what you stop looking at me. I don't know what cryptic means.
Hunter, definition of cryptic right now.
Now introducing.
Right now.
All right, ready?
Isn't it a message
Got-
hidden in something that doesn't mean that exactly? You're hiding a message inside.
This is
something else.
America.
This is America.
But isn't
Now,
it?
now,
Aren't you hiding?
now,
Timmy, shut
now,
up.
now introducing Peter's patent pending quick draw sword grease. For those greases that you need sword. Have you ever been there defending your bro, who also might be the Messiah, and all of a sudden, intruders, right? But your sword is stuck in its quiver. You know what you need? Peter's patent pending grease. That was horrible.
That was great. That reminds me of Johnny from last episode talking about, cutting off an ear.
Peter's patent pending grease. This has been Peter's patent pending grease.
My only thing is, was it Peter that cut the ear off?
Yeah.
Huh?
Yeah. Peter's quick reaction.
Wait, isn't it called a sheath and not a quiver?
Have you ever been walking down to the local pizza place and you're like, my shoes, they're broken.
Oh no, our shoes, it's broken.
That's why you got to go down to Mikey's Shoes.
Mikey shoes.
And if you buy 2 pairs of shoes, you get a free pizza pay.
BOGO. That's what.
Free pizza.
If you're ever walking down the street and you say, I'm walking here. Well, yeah, you're not walking with Mikey's Shoes. You got to get Mikey's Shoes, and then you won't yell at people saying, I'm walking here.
I'm walking here.
Free
I'm walking
pizza.
here.
Yeah.
Why one tone?
Pizza.
Mikey's shoes probably are one of my favorite brands. I personally don't own any, but that's because I don't support
You got to buy some.
Yeah, now for the segment for our
3 out of 5 stars.
Totally legit reviews. Here's one from Susan. I love Mikey's shoes.
They look like
They're
cows.
great. I didn't slip on the piece of pizza I stepped on, and the rat said hi.
Anyways, that's been our sponsors from Mikey's Shoes. I personally love Mikey's Shoes. When you're suited up, right, you're ready to go somewhere. What? Why did you look at me like that? When you've got your shoes on, right, you got your boots, what's it make you feel like? Feel like you're prepared. If you go out to kill a snake, you ain't going out in flip-flops. You're going to put boots on.
I would.
If you're sane.
Yeah. No, you put boots on, you suit up, you get out.
Okay,
right?
let's be real. Johnny ain't wearing shoes.
Johnny ain't wearing
He goes
shoes.
to kill a
He's
snake.
gonna run out and grab the noodle. I got the noodle.
No, I just don't go out there
Yeah, I just shoot it
at
from
all.
I shoot it from the window.
Yeah.
I shoot it from my very secure safe house.
Yeah.
No.
But you know what we can't
Safe
shoot
house.
from a distance? Unsaved people. And they ask a lot of hard questions. And we gotta shoot the question in person. That's
Oh,
a
yeah.
segue if I've ever heard one.
that was a good turn.
Yeah.
I didn't know where you were going
Yeah,
there.
that's a
All right,
great transition.
we'll hit it up a little bit and then we'll figure it out. But the question for today, right, the big old theology question is why does God allow bad things to happen?
Well, you see.
Go, Tammy.
Well, you see here. So he doesn't.
What?
I'm sorry.
You
I'm
ever
sorry.
have a dream where you do
And
anything?
like,
ever?
we
Hello?
went-
wish
and,
I did,
You could do anything?
Right.
Johnny,
What are you
your reactions are so out of place. It's hilarious.
Johnny, your turn.
Okay, but for real, Johnny,
Yeah.
you know, how would you answer this? Let's pretend I'm an atheist. I'm not, but let's pretend I'm an atheist, right? You're an avid Christian. Yeah, we don't have to pretend that, I guess. So, you're a Christian, yeah? Dude,
Yep.
if God's so great, why does bad things happen?
Yeah, Mikey.
Mikey.
Big Mike.
Well, I would say bad things happen because of just it's just a way for someone to probably be brought closer to God. Because even though if we go through hardships at all, if you have trust in God, you'll get you'll get through it. Because you can't just give up if something bad happens in your life. You have to keep your face towards God because things will get better because of him.
Yeah, that's good. Alongside with that, how would you follow that up if, let's say, so like we're gonna be serious, right? Let's say my sister just died, and I'm like, Johnny, so my sister just died, so I can be closer to Jesus. You know, what about my sister?
Okay,
Like,
that's
right?
that's when you bring in
You
the
have to be-
fact of the fall of man, where
Yeah.
way in the beginning, Adam and Eve, they kind of sinned. They thought that they
They
knew
kind
better.
of sinned. The fall of man.
fall
They
of
did
man.
it.
They kind of started the sin and everything.
Yeah.
Okay. Essentially, they were like, oh, I'm better. I know it's better for me, and I don't need to trust in God anymore. So then they ate the fruit.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh, I can be like God.
They can have the wisdom,
Yeah.
yeah.
They know what's good and
The
bad.
tree of knowledge. They were
Yeah.
like, oh, my turn.
Obviously, that didn't turn out very well for them because they were like, "Oh, we're naked."
Yep.
And they hid themselves from God, and then
Yep.
ended up getting tossed.
And now
Tossed
we're
out of the
here.
garden. Yeah, they got tossed out of the garden. It
Yeah.
added a lot of hardship, and then death came into the world,
Yep.
and disorders and everything. God's perfect design was then corrupted by sin.
Yeah.
So God doesn't necessarily allow those bad things to happen, but He then uses those bad things that are a result of sin.
I think something to touch there, is God did create the world perfect, right?
Yeah. He
6
said
days.
everything was good.
Yeah, right. Adam is like, oh well, he's lonely, created woman, it was good, right? So before sin officially entered the world was good, and God does allow, if God has created everything and He knows what's going to happen, then in a way He has allowed everything to happen. But the thing is, we often get too focused on our lives, and we're the main character, right? And we're not the main character as far as the memes go. It's like, oh, you live a life like you're the main character. We're not. There's 7.6 billion people on this planet, right? Right now, at this stage. I just tapped the table. That's going to mess with the mic. But that's where we're at right now. So we have to remember that we have to look at life through the big picture. And everyone says, oh, God's a big picture God. What does that really mean? Well, it means that all we can see is our 80 years through our eyes. We can't really experience much outside of that because we don't understand yet. But if you think about God being outside of time, outside of space, outside of matter. What's the other one? It's 3. It's space, time, and matter. That's what it is. Yeah, you're outside of everything because that's how you can't create it if you're inside of that, right? So He's outside of all of us. He sees everything that's happening. He knows that when this wreck happens over here, this giant butterfly effect all causes down here, and then boom, let's say the cure to cancer came up from it, right? And you're like, well, how the heck does it crash? But He sees all of that working together. So even bad things like that sometimes have a greater play that we will never even see because we're only seeing it through our personal life and our little eyes. And the big thing is we have to remember who we're talking to, right? Because we're saying, God, why are you allowing this? God, who are you? We have to be careful to question God's character, right? God does want us to ask questions, but when you question His character and you question Him like that, it's not that you're trying to figure out anything, that you're trying to undermine Him and find a solution, but we're not outside of it yet, so we can't see the bigger picture. And the big thing there being, God did create it perfect. And then sin came into the world through men. That's through us. Any one of us would have made that mistake if we were put in there. Sin entered the world, and that's what broke it, which is why we need Christ. That's why Christ came down. That's why Christ paid the ultimate sacrifice and then raised from the dead. And that's why we have salvation. It's to save us from that brokenness. If that never happened, if Adam and Eve never sinned, we wouldn't need salvation because it wouldn't be broken. But that is what happened. And God knows that, which is why He sent Jesus. So it's not that God does allow bad things to happen, but it's not that God's like, I'm going to kill this person so you can solve cancer. No, brokenness has entered the world, and that's because of us. But God saved us because now we have Jesus. Yeah. Hunter, you have anything on that?
Yeah. So what you were talking about, earlier about, some people might be thinking, oh, why do bad things happen to good people? That's a big question that's asked a lot. I think a good thing to remember is, as hard as it is, there are no good people. Yep. In Ecclesiastes, it talks about how there's not a righteous man. There's no one that doesn't sin, except for Jesus. And then I believe it's, Romans, where it says all have fallen short of God's glory.
Yeah. I think it's 5:23.
3:23.
3:23.
Yeah.
For all fallen short.
Yeah. So I think that's a good thing to remember. And then I also had a couple verses that kind of walk through it a little bit on why bad things do happen to people who might seem less evil per se.
Yeah.
People who are saved,
because we would say Hitler is a bad person.
Yeah.
And we would say,
Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham Lincoln is a good person.
Yeah.
I was like, oh shoot, who's a good person? Yeah, we say Abraham Lincoln, good person. Hitler, bad person.
Yeah. So first, when you think about that, you can remember Romans 8:28 in specific. It talks about how we know that those who love God, all things work together for good. For those who love God, all things work together for good. for those who are called according to his purpose. So we already know that even if bad things happen to us, they're happening for a reason that is ultimately for God's glory, but also for our own good. So maybe it's, like a good example is like a gold, like it gets purified, it becomes more good, more better, more expensive, more pure, but it has to go through the fire first. So it's kind of like some of our sufferings might seem like we're going through fire. And a lot of times that could be because it's God allowing something bad to happen to us so that we can then, be more pure. Or it could also be that maybe later on, like I know this is something I've dealt with, I'm sure you have too. Yeah. I go through something and then literally I get through it, and like within a couple of days of me getting through it, or even, longer than a couple of days, someone that I'm talking to is going through the same thing. And now because I've been through it, I know how to deal with helping them get through it. So I think that's some good and important to remember.
Which is also something that I discussed last week, which was like with that situation when I was talking to someone trying to encourage them. I had like just recently, and I mean still technically right now I am. Yeah. But yeah, that just helped because I was able to guide how I got through just like the iceberg of it.
Yeah,
I guess,
the
like
trials.
The top part of it, there's a bunch underneath. There's still things I need to flesh out and everything, but yeah, no, it's just like through your experiences you can help others. And on top of that, with like the whole purifying thing, not only are you put through the fire, but also things do get removed. The impurities are getting removed to make you more like God, which is just like the sanctification.
Yeah, at first I was trying to avoid that explanation, but that's also a part of the explanation. It's, sometimes bad things happen to make us stronger through the trials. And I didn't want to like cover that as all, because it's not always to make us stronger. Yeah. That's not every case. A lot of times it is, and we don't even notice it for years. It's like, Hunter with all of your medical issues.
Yeah,
you're on track
arthritis.
On track to get scholarships. You're going to ton all that through, not academics, through sports, but then, God...
Yeah, no, not academics.
No, not academics, but sports, extremely athletic. But then, God humbled you. Allowed you to get injured in many ways and many allergic reactions, right? Tons of stuff all happened, but that led you to where you are now, working for the church. So it all ended up working around and working for good. And that's something that we don't really see while it's happening, which is something we need to focus on. It's something we heard at Fuge all the time was, don't focus on the darkness, because if that's all you see, you're never going to see the light. And that's because if all we fill our head with daily is, my life stinks, or, I have to do this, or, I have to go to class, your life's going to be negative because that's all you're putting in there. But if you focus on the good, right? There's things called an Ebenezer jar, when you like write down all the good things that happen throughout the week and you store them and you read it later. If you focus on all the good things that's happening through the week, like right now we live in the USA, except for our Germany listener, right? Germany? Yeah, Germany listeners, shout out.
Right? I mean, we haven't had an episode. The last episode was the first one in like half a year, but
yeah, but he was there, except for him, right? Yeah. We all live in the USA, so right now we all have the freedom of religion. We can record this podcast without having to worry about the government coming in, busting our doors down, and taking us to jail, right? There's one thing, and there's hundreds of these things just because we live in America, just to like begin with, that we can be happy about. If we focus on these light, right? We focus on these good things that God's given us. It's like, maybe my life doesn't stink as bad. And in bigger situations where we are going through a lot of trials, we can think, hey, maybe this is going to help me later in the future or help someone else, because God does have a plan. And it's not just willy-nilly. It's not just happening. There is an overarching plan, and you can find comfort in that. And it's hard. Like, none of us here are saying that it's easy to go through trials. That is,
it's just, and also like that was like where it talks about in like James 1, where it talks about like, it brings joy when you go through these trials. It's like, because when I was talking to that person, I was like, I'm so glad I went through that. Like, not necessarily like glad I went through that, but like I'm glad that I'm able to help someone else through what I've done and what I've been through.
And it could be that you're glad that you went. Like for me, like I'm glad I got arthritis.
I am glad
the outcome. I was a big fat jerk boy before, and I was like,
I'm not happy about how it had to happen.
I'm
just happy that
it happened
because it happened.
It's just like you see yourself, and you're
there's no other way it would have happened.
Yeah, you're going like you see yourself like drifting away, and you're going down a dark road, and it's like I'm upset that it had to happen that way because, you shouldn't have gone down that route in the first place. Yeah. But, none of us are perfect, so. Yeah. But, like, afterwards, you're like, I'm glad that is now out of my life as well.
Yeah. Another thing I just thought about was, like, it reminded me of Jesus himself who went through suffering, if the world hated Jesus, it's going to hate those who follow him. Yeah. So sometimes our suffering isn't because we did anything, it's just
because we're Christians.
Yeah. And we should rejoice in that because it means we're becoming more like Jesus.
That's something that I find like really since Fuge. If you guys want to go to Fuge, just talk to Pastor Joe. Coolest thing you'll ever go to.
Oh yeah, no, that was definitely
Fuge is awesome.
in
Something
everything
all I
else.
could think about during Fuge. Oh man, what were we talking about? Trials, right? Something all I could think about during Fuge was how awesome it was, right? That we were having issues during the week. And it sounds weird. It's a little confusing at first. Like, why are you so happy that you guys ran into so many problems at Fuge? Well, that's because I knew God was working in our group because Satan was trying to do something, right? Pastor Kevin says it all the time, and I love it. And it's wherever there is... oh, man.
You can do it.
I know, I've got it. Wherever there's divine operation, there's satanic opposition.
There you go.
And that's so true because wherever good things are happening for God, Satan just wants to kick and scratch and bite because he's a sore loser. He's already lost. He just wants to drag some people down when he goes out.
Yeah, and he knows that he's lost.
Exactly.
That's all he's trying to do. He's trying to just separate you and make you forget why.
Yeah.
You're doing
Which is why it's so comforting when you see Satan actually fighting because you know something good is happening. And towards the end of that week at Fuge, we had a massive like come together of our group, and it was awesome. We really grew closer together as a family. And throughout the whole week, I was like, this sucks that all these bad things are happening, but I know God's working, and that's why Satan's trying to tear us down. And that's seriously a great way to find comfort. You're like, if you're going through hard trials and you're trying to go closer to Christ, you're doing it right. This is how it's going to happen, and it stinks. But hey, 80 years from now, it ain't going to be how it is. We'll be up in heaven.
Yeah.
It's going to be nice. So throughout this week, I want us to really think about the good things that God has done for us, right? It's kind of the challenge for the week, challenge till the next episode. Day to day, just make a list. Write it down in the morning, 5 things that are great. And just think about that throughout the day.
Okay, it's just
Not.
I was listening.
And this has been. No, I'm just kidding.
No. So I was just listening to a song, and it was the song was like,
Give me fire. Give me.
No,
What is
no.
What is that rock song on TikTok? How's it go? Oh man, The Rock.
I'm trying to say something.
The Rock.
Oh.
Jesus.
Yeah. What was
Well, we
the
just won't
3
bring that up because
what
we
was the-
found out last.
Anyway.
Yeah, yours is
What I
bad.
was saying was like the song. I think it's from Beautiful Eulogy. I think that's
Eulogy.
Eulogy.
Eulogy?
No,
Eulogy.
I completely butchered that name.
No, I
No,
got
but it
you.
was one of their songs, and it was saying it was like something that was like super like convicting on that. Like it was just like it said that I came into the world with nothing, and that's how I'll leave. And I was
Yeah.
like, that's another thing where it's like all this stuff isn't yours.
Yeah.
Like that's just the sense of like stewardship. Like,
Yeah.
all this is given to you by God, so if He decides to remove things to help you,
Yeah.
then that's something that.
Yeah, that's something for us to think like, because this answer is easy for us as Christians. right?
Yeah.
It's hard for people that aren't Christians, but for us as Christians, it shouldn't even be like a question, because what we've been given is we can acknowledge as a Christian, that's from God. So like whatever He takes away, that's also God taking away His own things. He can do that. He's just moving it. That's all He's doing. Yeah. So throughout this week, just think about that, and we'll see you guys next week.